can.
Once upon a time, in a very beautiful country, there lived a kind king and queen that everyone loved. Their only wish was to have a daughter. One day, their wish came true, and their daughter came into the world. They organized a feast to celebrate the event. All the kings and queens of other kingdoms, all the townspeople, and the 12 fairies of the country were invited. As part of the celebration, everyone presented their gift to the newborn princess. When it was the fairies' turn, each of them made a wish using their magical wand. There were exactly 12 fairies.
May life bring you everlasting happiness.
Let your beauty be spoken of all across the lands.
Let this princess be a very clever girl.
Let her always be generous to our people.
Suddenly, the entire hall started to shake. As everyone watched in awe, there was a high-pitched sound. The wicked fairy was the 13th fairy. They especially hadn't invited her to the party. Furious, the wicked fairy approached the crib and pushed aside the 12th good fairy that still hadn't made her wish.
So, I'm the only one that wasn't invited, I see. Well, even if I wasn't invited, I also have a wonderful gift for the princess. On her 16th birthday, the princess will prick her finger on a needle and die.
Staring at the wicked fairy, the king and queen begged the good fairy to do something. "Please, do whatever it takes to break this curse, good fairy."
Unfortunately, my queen, I cannot remove the curse that the wicked fairy has cast, but I can at least lighten it. When the princess pricks her finger with the needle, she won't die. She will sleep for 100 years. She will only be awakened with the kiss of a prince. That's all I can do.
The king immediately prohibited the use of needles and had them removed from his kingdom. He ordered his guards to watch over the princess until she grew up. The good fairy's wishes had come true. The princess turned out to be a beautiful, well-mannered young girl. In the palace, she could only wander around the garden with the fairies. Her father always watched over her. On the day of her 16th birthday, the princess was locked up in a room to stop the curse from happening. Everyone was very anxious. If nothing happened until sunset, the curse would be lifted. The princess was bored and wanted to open the window to catch some fresh air. Outside, the weather was beautiful. As she opened the window, she saw a raven with a little box in its beak. The bird placed the box on the windowsill and flew away. It was such a beautifully decorated box that the princess couldn't resist her curiosity. She opened the box and saw a glowing diamond ring. She thought it was a birthday gift from the fairies, so she put it on her finger. But a little needle was hidden underneath the diamond. So, when the needle pricked her, the princess fell into her 100-year slumber. The bird that had brought the box to the princess was the raven of the wicked fairy. When they couldn't hear any sound from the princess's room for some time, the king became anxious and went to check on her.
"My girl, you haven't said anything. Open the doors so I can see you. Be patient. There's only 2 hours left until sundown and the curse will be broken."
The king couldn't get a reply, so he unlocked the door and entered the room. To his surprise, he found his daughter lying on the floor.
My queen! Guards! Run! My princess has fallen asleep! It's a disaster! A disaster!
When they saw the ring on the princess's finger, the upset king and queen immediately realized what had happened. The wicked fairy had tricked the princess into pricking her own finger, fulfilling the curse.
Good fairy, do something, please! Either awake her or let us all sleep and awake with her. We can start our lives again when she wakes up in 100 years. How can we live without her?
To cast this spell, we have only till sunset. We have little time, but I'll do it. First, let's get the princess into a beautiful bed.
They immediately carried her to her room. They laid her in a bed covered with flowers in her most beautiful gown. The king and queen sat in their thrones. The servants waited where they stood. The birds, cats, and dogs. Everyone was ready. And the good fairy cast her most powerful spell yet.
Let everyone in the palace fall asleep along with the princess and awake with her.
With a wave of her hand, everyone in the palace fell asleep. The palace was to be known as the Palace of Sleeping Beauty from then on. As years passed, the palace was covered with thorns and vines. No one could enter anymore. Many years passed. One day, as the prince was wandering around with his soldiers, he noticed the palace covered in vines.
There it is. This must be Sleeping Beauty's castle, the one my mom always told me about when I was younger. Look, it is completely covered with vines.
He took out his sword at once and started cutting down the vines. He fought his way through and made it to the door of the castle. When he entered, he was speechless by what he saw. The king and queen in their thrones and the people of the palace all sleeping in some place. They were all lying still. He started wandering through all the rooms of the palace, trying to find the princess.
I'm going to find you, beautiful princess. I'll save you. I will lift the curse.
The prince was frantic, running around trying to find the princess's room. Finally, he came across a magnificent door in the tower. He opened it slowly and found the incredibly beautiful princess asleep on a bed of flowers.
My goodness, how beautiful she is. It's as if she fell asleep yesterday. Her flowers still smell wonderful.
The prince couldn't bear to see the princess sleeping like an angel, so he gave her a kiss on the cheek. At that moment, the princess woke up. When she saw the handsome prince standing before her, she asked,
What happened? Am I still dreaming?
No, my princess, you aren't dreaming any longer. The curse has been broken. Please, give me your hand. Let me help you get up from this bed.
The princess gave her hand to the prince and got up. When the curse was broken, everyone woke up from their sleep. The king, queen, servants, cats, dogs, and flowers in the garden all came to life again. There was nothing left of the vines and thorns. The king and queen ran to their daughter's room in excitement.
Good heavens, what a beautiful day! I'm so happy. My daughter and the whole palace have awoken from their sleep.
They hugged joyfully. Prince promptly kneeled before the king.
My king, I would like to marry your daughter. With your permission, may I ask for her hand in marriage?
My dear prince, we are so very happy. I would be honored if you were my groom.
My dear princess, I've waited for this moment my whole life. Will you marry me?
Yes! You are the prince I have seen in my dreams.
They invited all the fairies and got married with a magnificent wedding. They lived happily ever after. And what happened to the wicked fairy? After she found out what was going to happen to her, she escaped to a faraway land.
Hey guys! Subscribe to our channel Konta-san and watch the most popular fairy tales, cartoons, and nursery rhymes. Don't forget to click the bell for notifications.